watch a Flyers Hurricanes game, and you're watching Coast to Coast.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Back for another seasonal report card video. This time we're doing the old Philadelphia Flyers.
The Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah, I don't have a Flyers hat, but I'll get one soon. So, as you know in the previous videos, we compare 16-17 season to the 17-18 season with some of the main stats, goals for, points, all that stuff. And then we go through some of the talking points of this previous season. Just in general, we made a video of you ranking your favorite teams 1 to 31 roughly 11 months ago.
Maybe. I may have recollection of that.
You didn't have a lot of favorable things to say about Philadelphia.
I did not.
Has your opinion of Philadelphia improved since you've watched more hockey this year than you usually would before we started this channel?
Well, my opinion of Philadelphia before wasn't so much based on their performance as it was, but the image of the team as it rests in my brain. So for Philadelphia to become more favorable to me, they have to change their culture a little bit. I don't know if they did a lot of that. They certainly played better than they did the previous year. But there are individuals on Philadelphia I really, really like. I really, really like Claude Giroux.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really liked Simmons.
Wayne Simmons, yeah.
I love Wayne Simmons. And I like those guys, and I hope they individually do well. I still find it difficult to cheer for Philadelphia. Well, I just don't. I don't cheer for 30 of the teams in the NHL.
Sure.
Philadelphia is one of them. But I don't wish them any harm.
Okay.
So, I don't dislike them as much as I used to, probably. But
Right.
I would be lying if I said I like them more. I really,
I think like me and this channel's opened your mind to
Oh, yeah, no question.
more teams. Like not liking more teams, but just respecting and not hating on teams.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the interaction that you have with the fans of all these other teams and the appreciation that a lot of fans show you for being, notwithstanding the fact that you have a favorite team, I have a favorite team, but you show respect for all the teams. And I see the appreciation for that out there, even among fans from Philly and places that maybe I don't cheer for. And I think that's important. And I think that's something that's been missing in a lot of the sports media, to the extent that we're sports media. And I think that's great. And I have adopted a lot more live and let live attitude with other teams and other fans. So
Perfect.
I'll say it that way.
Glad to hear it.
Okay.
So if we compare the 2016-2017 season to the 2017-2018 season for points, they went from 88 to 98. So
that's a nice upgrade.
That's making the playoffs, not making the playoffs to making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the difference.
So
the
10 points.
cutoff is about 95. So
yeah, it's funny because we saw the team the previous year go on a 10-game winning streak and miss the playoffs. And then this past year, they went on a 10-game losing streak and made the playoffs. We actually joked about it while they were on their 10-game losing streak this year in a podcast. I said, wouldn't it be funny if they continued this losing streak, made it to 10 games, and then made the playoffs? That's what happened.
That's exactly what they did.
Goals for, they went from 212 to 249. Pretty
Whoa.
significant offensive upgrade there.
Yeah.
Goals against 231 to 236, improvement. Power play 19.5 to 20.
That wouldn't be an improvement.
What?
Goals against would not be an improvement.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's not an improvement. I haven't marked wrong. Power play 19.5 to 20.7. That's an improvement.
Yep.
Penalty kill 79.8 down to 75.8. That's actually pretty bad.
Those are horrid numbers. That means roughly for every 4 penalties, the 2-minute penalties, they're letting in a goal.
Yeah, that's 25% of the time the other team is scoring a goal in the power play.
You just can't have that and get in the playoffs. Oops, they got in the playoffs.
Face-offs, 52.3 the previous year, 53.3 this year. It's actually really good. There's not a lot of teams who are above 50%.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia is one of those top-tier teams. They had the third best average face-off percentage in the league this year. Mm-hmm. And just if you look at the players alone, Couturier, Patrick, Filippo, Laterra, all above 50% this year. All four of their centers. Laterra alone was 57% in the face-off circle.
That's remarkable because even good face-off people are usually up against good face-off people from the other team. There's a lot of matching going on. And everyone's numbers, all the teams have a very close to 50% across the board almost everywhere. There's very little standard deviation away from that median. And to see someone that's 5-6% above 50, that's quite remarkable.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I think it was Couturier. He was at like 54 or something like that. So
Darn good.
when you're in a team who has 4 strong centers, and you have the confidence to put them out in any situation and win a face-off. It's not like these teams, like Montreal used to really use Plekanec in face-off situations because he was their only good face-off guy. They're really putting a lot of pressure on that one guy in situations for defensive draws and really important offensive draws. This is a team that can throw at anyone and be confident. So that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of Laterra, though, he had a abysmal year. It was terrible offensively. There's no question about it. It was really bad. I don't know how it could get any worse this coming year. Hopefully it gets better. I can't see it not getting better. So Elliott proved people wrong. I really thought that Elliott was going to struggle in Philadelphia, and he didn't. So you know what? I admit I was wrong, and he proved people wrong, including myself. He played respectable. He did suffer some injuries. He had a tough playoffs. Few games, the whole team really was so inconsistent in the playoffs. You can't really blame Elliott too much. But speaking of other players who struggled, Wayne Simmons had a tough year, struggled with some injuries.
He did.
But
even at that, like Philly-Pittsburgh first round, Philadelphia had the ingredients for an upset there.
They did.
They had the ingredients. Not always, if you don't put the ingredients in the right way and mix them the right way at the right time, you can turn what is a beautiful chocolate chip cookie into gruel.
But that was a frustrating thing. In some of those games against Pittsburgh in the playoffs, they look magical. And then the next game,
just a complete blast out.
AHL team.
Yeah,
like
terrible.
It was terrible.
Terrible.
So that's what Philadelphia's been like the past 3 or 4 years. Really frustrating team to watch at times. It's so inconsistent. Simmons, back to Simmons, he had a tough year, and not just with injuries. His name has been on the trading block for the past 2 years, and I find that really strange.
Me too.
Because he's a player that you want on your team. He's the grinder. He can produce offensively. He can score goals. He can kill penalties. He can play in the power play. He can get in front of the net and block shots. He can do all of these things. He's one of these players who can do everything. So the fact that relations aren't great there in Philadelphia is a bit concerning, and I don't want to see him leave Philadelphia, but if he wants to come to Montreal, I'd allow it.
That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
Konechny had a great second year in the NHL. Not sure if you paid attention to Konechny.
Not so much.
Racked up 47 points in his second year. It was awesome.
Sorry.
The Ghost, Gosh Despair, quietly put up 65 points. Had a great bounce back year. He had 39 points the previous year. So that's a player who had a really good rookie season or second year. I can't remember. Then he kind of struggled the previous year, and then this year he bounced back, quietly put up 65 points. So hopefully he stays in that trend and does pretty good. And just to end here, I've already said the Flyers are consistently inconsistent. Sorry. And that starts from their top guys straight to the bottom.
How can a team be so different from one game to the next, though?
And that's the thing. Like Drew had a good season. Voracek had a good season. Couturier had a good season. But there are times where, in some of those playoff games, you watch them and they're like, "What is going on?" And I might understand it a little bit because they're such a front-loaded team. They don't have the depth like some of these other teams did. If you look at the points that Voracek and Giroux and Couturier put up this year, like the difference between what they did and what the third, fourth line guys did is pretty crazy. You have a team like Nashville who can throw the fourth line out there and score some goals. So different teams are structured different ways. So Philadelphia needs a little bit more of help from their bottom six.
It could just be the top players on the team not having enough gas in the tank every single game and maybe taking some nights off in order to protect the longevity of their season. Because you've got the same bodies in the same dressing room with the same chemistry, hopefully, pretty well every time. And to see such a different team come out one game to the next was quite a shock. I don't think I've seen as lopsided a scores, especially in that playoff series with Pittsburgh, ever.
It was weird. It was one of the weirdest playoff series I think I've seen, specifically the first 4 games. But yeah, it was strange. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Philadelphia. Anything else for you?
Nothing for me. I'm good.
All right, thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. We're going to film another video after this. Can't tell you what it is yet because I might release it before I release this video. So
Crafty.
Inception, or not Inception, but whatever. So thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.